Good morning, my fellow summit chasers. I am I love doing these ones. These ones are so much fun. These Saturday morning summit coffee clubs. I really need a new chair. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's really creaky. But I've fallen in love with doing these, and today it's not going to be any different. We have a very fun guest this morning, and I can see him backstage. I can see him. There he is. He's smiling now. Um, really good friend of mine. At least I think so. Whether he thinks so or not, I absolutely love some of the stuff that he's doing. I was on his podcast. He was on the Summit Chasers podcast. So go check it out. Go to the YouTube channel, Jim Mayer, Manufacturing Culture Podcast. He's doing a lot of other cool stuff. So I'm excited for him to share all the other cool stuff that he's doing. Now, it seems like he's kind of reinvented himself. I'm just going to keep talking about him like you can't actually see what I'm saying right now. But few little house cleaning notes. If you haven't already, I say this on every live, every podcast, every piece of content. If you haven't already, get your tickets for the Young Professionals Leadership Summit on October 19th in Toronto, Ontario. Toronto's going to be lovely in October. It's kind of a flip of a coin in October if it's going to be nice or not in Canada, but either way, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be an amazing event. We have some amazing speakers lined up. We have some amazing workshops, content, challenges, and we have some really cool partners that we partnered with to bring a lot of value for those that are going to show up. And again, this is for young professionals, young leaders who are either new to leadership roles, or you're a business owner and you want to start growing your team, but you're like, I've never led anybody before. I've just always been the solopreneur trying to do my thing and survive. But and you're probably thinking, okay, a lot of these events are too expensive. And a lot of them are very expensive. Some of them, the tickets can be up to $5,000-$10,000. These ones are priced for anybody wherever they're at in their leadership journey. We're not doing this event for a bunch of profit. Anything that is above cost that we get, whether it's through sponsorship or ticket prices, is going to a nonprofit that is near and dear to our partner Rob's heart in Toronto, Ontario. It is Parents for Education. So it's your money's going to a really, really good cause. It's $60 for in-person tickets, $20 for virtual. We're going to have it streamed, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's going to be live streamed. I don't know where through yet. I'll get you that information. But either way, it's going to be live streamed. Also, really excited about a new podcast that I just launched. We just launched our podcast with Alan Dibb. He is the best-selling author of the One-Page Marketing Plan and his new book. Where did it go? All my books are going to fall over. No, they're not. Lean Marketing. If you can see my little picture in Lean Marketing, it is an amazing book, especially if you're a small business owner or you want to be a small business owner, but the marketing, getting the clients, getting your brand out there, getting your message out there, who should you work with, identifying your ICP, it can be overwhelming. And there's so much noise out there right now. Everything, marketing companies and marketing agencies, they try to overcomplicate things, and a lot of marketers try to overcomplicate things. I don't know why. Probably because it can be overcomplicated or seem overcomplicated, but it doesn't have to be. It absolutely doesn't have to be. He makes it simple. And one of our slogan at Summit Chasers is, we make business success simple so you can live extraordinary. He makes marketing success simple so you can live extraordinary. So pick up his book. Go check out the podcast, Summit Chasers Productions on YouTube, or Summit Chasers Podcast anywhere you can listen to podcasts. But I'm going to shut up for a bit now, and I'm going to bring on my special guest, my good friend, Mr. Jim Mayer. How's it going, brother?
What's happening, my dude? Nice to be on your show. This is awesome.
I know it's been a while, my friend. It's been a while, and a lot of things have changed with you. So how have you been?
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes. It's been a path of listening to the market. It's been a path of understanding those ICPs and what they truly need from me, what their perception is of me in the marketplace versus what I thought my perception was.
Was there any surprises? Right? Was there any surprises there?
Oh, massive surprises. And you alluded to kind of a change in direction, a change in branding, a change in that go-to-market strategy. And that has all come because of that change of or understanding, I guess, that perception that people had of me versus what I thought people thought of me, right? I thought people thought of me as the culture guy, the guy who came in and did assessments and gave that and it's not necessarily that. It's more of the networking, the connector, which is
Mhm.
why I rebranded my company to the Manufacturing Connector. And now I spend all of my time working to network and then connect manufacturers, people in the manufacturing space with the tools, technologies, and techniques that they need to run a much more successful manufacturing company.
Good for you, man. So what was probably the biggest, I mean, other than they saw you as a connector, but other than that, was there any surprises or is there anything that was like kind of maybe hit your ego a little bit that you had to, have some questions for yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean the first one was I when I started my company, I came in hot as the culture consultant for manufacturing, and even though I'd spent 20 years in the space, I hadn't been listening well enough. And
Mm.
there are two words that manufacturers hate, and it's culture and consultants. And so I worked very hard to eliminate both of those words from what my go to market strategy was, what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. And I made a interim switch to a resource provider, right? It's still doing my assessments, still finding that was the best way to get out there.
Mhm.
And the ego part was my assessment is great and people find tremendous value in it, but not as much value as I found in it, right? And so if I'm
Mhm.
able to take the aggregate data that I've collected over the last 6 years and say, okay, I know what industry wide the top five, top 10 biggest issues are. I can help solve problems without having to come in, without charging for the assessment, without all these other things, and pick off some low hanging fruit for them to get them moving in the right direction. But going back to that ego, the biggest thing that I learned was I am not the expert. I am the networker. I'm the one who can find the experts out
Mhm.
there that can then connect with, I can connect them with the manufacturers or with the experts, vice versa. And be the one making those connections, not the one actually doing the work, if that makes any sense at all,
Mhm.
Zach.
It sounds like more fun in some
It's a
ways.
blast. It's a blast. It's way more like, how am I going to monetize this? Right.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge right now. And so gotten very, that pathway has been interesting because I went from, an engagement consultant type model where there were short-term and long-term engagements similar to what you do with your clients,
Mhm.
to as a resource provider, more of a affiliate
Mhm.
partnership, right?
I
Because I
get
was
that. Mhm.
partnering with smaller organizations, companies that didn't have massive marketing budgets and things of that nature. And in the last month, developed and created this tiered partnership network that I've now started to go to market with, that provides these OEMs, these service providers, these consultants, these other companies, massive value for me connecting them to people.
Mhm.
And that's the monetization pathway for me now. See, my chair's bad too. I need a new chair too.
Yeah, you're a bet.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
We can just do
Um,
an hour of this. Yeah,
yeah.
everyone will love that.
Two old white guys rocking. Is that the name
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
podcast?
Yeah. That one's on Sundays, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
On
Okay.
Sunday,
Right
yeah.
on. So you
Take a
got
sip
your
of our
Tim,
coffee.
you
Yeah,
got your
rest in
Tims
peace.
there.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, good Tim Hortons. I hadn't been in Canada for a while, and when I came back, Tim Hortons wasn't the same. It was a place of love, a place that I felt accepted, a place that I felt heard, a
Yeah.
place that knew just what I needed. While this was 10 plus years ago, and all a lot of my traumatic experiences in life was accompanied by um, was supported by, just a quick trip to Tim Hortons for a double.
Yep.
And I come back to Canada, Jim, and it's just, I learned all sorts of things. It's apparently it had got acquired, or it didn't get acquired. It partnered with Burger King, and they formed, I guess, so Burger King and Tim Hortons became a subsidiary of a bigger conglomerate company. I think they formed RBI, Restaurant Brands International, something like that. It's the third largest fast food now company out there.
Wow.
And they just they did it dirty. They did it dirty. Although I'm still a supporter. I'm a Canadian. I'm a big fan of Tim Horton himself. But it's a good example of big companies coming in and not understanding what made something successful and not sticking by it. It's sad. I'm not going to live in the soapbox for too long, Jim. You opened up a can of worms.
Oh, I'm good with it, man. Go for it.
No, I'm done. You know what? I'm moving forward. The double still hits hard. Again, I'm in a small town, so they're a little bit slower to adopt some of these radical changes. The ice caps are still unbelievable. If you're in the States and you ever come to Canada, go to Tim Hortons to get an ice cap. If anything else, it'll change your life.
Can I ask you a question without sounding completely like an American? What's a double? Because in my world, that's at In-N-Out, and it's 2 patties of beef with 2 slices of cheese. So that's my double. What is your double in Canada?
It's very simple, Jim. It is coffee with 2 cream, 2 sugar.
Got it. Okay,
very easy. And that's the other thing that was great about it, is that it's such good coffee, and it's simple, double, and it was like $1.25, where you can get a medium, and that's all the caffeine you need, right? And it's perfect. It's not like Starbucks where they have a million pumps of this with whip and everything's, you can get soy everything. It's just coffee, man. It's just coffee, and that's it. And I think now they have like cappuccino, and then they have their ice caps, but other than that, you can get black coffee, single, double, triple, or a quad, a 4x4. Which only if you're getting a 4x4, you don't like coffee, you just like fat and sugar.
Yeah, and you just want the warm drink.
Exactly. Even then, because there's so much cream in it, it's not even warm anymore. It's just ridiculous.
You have to microwave it just to get it warm again.
Exactly. No, you have to. We bring it up. We have to microwave it. I know it's ridiculous, but I don't do that. When I was a kid, maybe, but I'm since become a man, and now I settle for double. So
I love it. I will say, I was in Toronto in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
2018, maybe 2019. And my favorite story of that trip, beyond the Tim's that I was able to have, and great donuts at Tim's, was I was getting off the plane, walking through customs at the airport. I'm scrolling through my phone to talk to the person that is picking me up, right? I was picked up by the president of the CTMA, Canadian Tooling and Machining Association, Rob Cattle. Rob, if you're listening, watching, hi. And I'm walking to customs, and I ran smack dab. My head's down. I'm scrolling through my phone trying to find his contact information. Run smack dab into this woman, and she apologized to me for getting in my way. And so that was my as an adult first experience in like the nicety of Canada.
And it's not, I don't know if we're passive aggressive, right? Well, I'm going to say we, because I identify more as an American now. I've been there almost longer. Passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And instead of like in the States, you say, excuse me. You know,
right.
you're grocery shopping, you're going down your aisle, you have your cart in front of you, someone comes in front of you, you're coming out of the aisle, they're just passing across the aisle kind of thing, and you bump into each other, you say, excuse me.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get in your way. That's what we do. It's like, I'm gonna avoid this confrontation no matter what. This is a friendly encounter, but I'm still gonna do everything I can to avoid this encounter. And then as I leave and I'm out of earshot, and be like, that fucking asshole. Right. That's Canada.
Okay. Well, you're the second person this week that's told me about the passive aggressiveness of
Oh,
Canadians
oh.
in Toronto specifically. Which is wild because I usually don't talk to two Canadians in 1 week, nor do
Well,
I
lucky
share
you.
that same story in 1 week. But I
Mhm.
was able to share that story twice, and both of your responses is, we're just passive aggressive, and we're not actually as nice as we come across.
Well, no, we're and that's definitely on the east. So like that's a very it gets more and more the closer to like French Canada you get, the more and more the passive aggressiveness becomes like this thing.
It's
Here we go.
tangible in Montreal.
Yeah, oh, very, very. Oh, that's what they invented passive aggressiveness in Montreal. Like because they came over from France, they're already pissed off. They got stuck here. I love to hear about the underbelly of Canadian culture. I knew there had to be more brewing under this for sure. For sure, we're not just America's hat. There's a lot more
And,
to it. We're like an onion, you know.
and Christina, way to bring it all together with the coffee conversation and brewing. I mean, I love how you like brought it all full circle there. Thank you for that.
That was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Last time we talked, Jim, we had a really good discussion on. I can't remember whose podcast it was, mine or yours. Go watch them both if you're here.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
well, we were talking about like trades, the importance of the trades and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And it was funny. I don't know if it was reading my mind. By it, I mean the algorithm, like the social media algorithm. And I came across this. I was doing like research on like equity partnerships and stuff on YouTube, and for some reason this came up where it was like arguing with liberal about trades versus college degrees, and I was like, this sounds like a good warm up. And
Yeah.
so it was just so much hate baiting. But anyways, it still refueled kind of my I don't want to say fire, but my desire or my I don't know what it is. I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but the need to or want to support those going into trades, not
Yeah.
going and spending $200,000, going $200,000 in debt to get a degree, when you can go into trades, earn money while you're getting. But we're not gonna spend too much time on this because we have a very fun game. But I kind of want to use this as more of a segue to get a different perspective on some of the corporate lingo, corporate. Speaking of passive aggressiveness, that was actually a good
Sure.
segue.
Yeah,
Corporate passive
that was good.
aggressiveness into our game today, and get kind of more of a blue collar manufacturing uh, perspective on some of these things. But it's been 6 or 7 months really since we had our conversation last. Has anything changed out there, or anything? Is anything improving? How are people going into the trades? How are the trades looking? How is that the industry, manufacturing, construction, home improvement? How is that industry doing right now? I need an update. I've been in other industries for too long.
I will say it all depends on the trade, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at trades positions across the board, and I'm fortunate enough to sit on some boards that support
Yeah.
scholarship and apprenticeship foundations. And one of the committees that I'm on is statewide here in Arizona. It's the State Apprenticeship Committee. And so I have the ability to hear from a lot of different apprenticeship organizations here in the state of Arizona, from the pipe
Mhm.
fitters all the way through to our machinist apprenticeship organization. The trades like pipe fittings,
Mhm.
electricians, they are they did a much better job marketing the pathway through that skilled
Yeah.
trade than manufacturing. Um,
Mhm.
and I see it as, I mean, there's a skills gap that definitely exists. We're
Yeah.
still looking at 2.5 million machinists are going to be needed just in the U.S. by
5
2030.
million?
Yeah, that's our shortage. That's not counting the people that we already have in the pipeline. That's the shortage, right? That's where automation is coming into play, robotics is coming into play, but there's this company culture paradox that exists right now too, where
Mhm.
and that's a whole different tangent. Let me get back to your original question. Sorry. So we as manufacturing, we recognized this over 20 years ago that we had this skills gap coming. But
Mm.
like I said, other trades did a much better job then at marketing to younger generations, and specifically marketing to younger parents about the pathways that exist within those trades.
Yeah.
You look at manufacturing, and I'd say in the last 15 years, we've done a better job. But a lot of our marketing efforts in manufacturing have been, until recently, have been very echo chamberish, right? So you look at a LinkedIn, right? And the manufacturing community is very close knit, but we're close knit with each other. We don't get a whole lot of exposure outside of our industry. Whereas carpentry, electricians, plumbers, they have a much wider reach. And I think part of that exposure gap is construction trades versus manufacturing trades. People have known that construction is, painful on the body, but it's
Mm.
not that dark, dirty, dangerous that people think of when it's that perception as well, right? And so that exposure gap paired with the perception of manufacturing. So things are getting better, but we still have a massive shortage of people. We still have companies that treat their employees like it's 1950 and pay them like it's 1970, right? And then wonder why we can't find people who want to work in the industry, right? So, but we're doing better. I don't think we're going to close that skills gap if I were to be asked that question. But I do think that we are going to be able, as an industry in the US, Mexico, and Canada, specifically in the North American market, be able to utilize automation to a point that brings our manufacturing capacity back to points that we used to see it at. It's just not going to employ as many people. And the people who are employed in this industry are going to have different skill sets. So instead of machine operators, CNC machine operators, they'll be programming robotics. So it'll upskill, it'll increase that career path or earning potential, but it's not going to necessarily close anytime soon, if that makes any sense at all, Zach.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And one thing I asked you when you were on the podcast is, how can we make manufacturing sexy? And you just like saying words like buzzwords like robotics. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
And you know what I think? You know what I think manufacturing really needs is you need like 2 or 3 TikTok stars. You need 2 or 3 TikTok stars that dance, make it look appealing and sexy, and use the buzzwords.
Yeah.
I'm fucking around. I don't know. That's probably.
You're not wrong though. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I have a 14-year-old daughter, right? Where does she spend her time when she's on her phone? It's TikTok and Snapchat. And we have some people, the Gen Zers that exist, the Gen Z influencers, Construction Champions podcast.
Okay, that's Ron. That's Ron. He was one of the first guests on this, and he would have liked that one. Yeah.
I'll have to go back. Is it recorded? Can I find it anywhere? Is it on your website?
On YouTube.
All right, cool. Awesome. Anyway, so we do have some younger folks out there that are, influencers, the Gen Zers. But again, we bounce around in our own algorithm. We're in this own echo chamber where other trades aren't necessarily there. I mean, even hairstyling has better PR than marketing or than manufacturing. And so you look at some of these other apprenticeships and manufacturing just is still that unknown, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I mean, I think that's probably Adrena watching Make Manufacturing Sexy. I mean, for sure. What are those like, I don't know how many there are. I can't even believe I'm bringing this up, or that I have an inkling. I'm admitting that I actually know these people exist. They're like they call themselves like the Idaho brothers, or I can't remember what they're called. The Montana brothers, I think. I don't know. Adrena, help me out here. But exactly, I'm actually embarrassed right now that I'm even bringing this up. But I mean, that's all they do is like they dance on TikTok, and now one of them's dating like a famous country
Oh,
singer person.
okay.
But anyway, we need that. But to your point about like the hairdresser and stuff, like Adrena, when she like we're in Canada now, we're a long ways away from her regular hair girl, which is in Arizona. So where do they go? She goes on TikTok and Instagram, and they have like hundreds of thousands of followers. And the stuff that they do, I mean, the stuff they do is cool. I can't appreciate as much as maybe somebody with more hair can,
Sure.
but they do such a good job of it, such a good job
Yeah.
marketing themselves and creating almost like it's like this portfolio. It's their resume,
Yeah.
right?
But
And
I think the hard part about manufacturing in that sense is so much of our manufacturing in the US is tied into defense, aerospace,
yeah,
space,
yeah,
and areas that you can't show a product
yeah,
being made, right? And so how do you market something that you can't show the really cool shit that's being made? That's the hard part. You don't have that problem with construction. You don't have that problem with hair. You
yeah,
don't have that problem with pipe fitting or any of these other trades. But in manufacturing, if you put a video out of XYZ being made, that's then going in a spacecraft or going in a war machine or something like that.
yeah,
That's giving advantage to other manufacturers who are working for other governments or other organizations and other nationalities that may have a different value system.
yeah,
And so it makes it really difficult for people in our space to really make that cool and make
yeah,
that sexy. The other problem is those are individuals, right? So I don't know a whole lot of people who have uh, machines in their garage that they can show them making cool shit at home, right? So
mhm,
that's the cost to enter. You go back to your point about spending 200 grand on a university degree. I tell kids all the time, buy a $50,000 machine. If you're willing to go in debt 200,000, buy a $50,000 machine, rewire your parents' garage, throw that machine in your garage, go on Xometry, start bidding on jobs, and start a company for 50 grand instead of going in debt 200 grand.
well, and it'll be paid off in the year.
Absolutely.
Like
The
you
ROI,
won't.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
the
you'll
ROI
make
is
that.
stupid.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And what I think what's the average salary of even like Harvard MBA graduates is not like they'll pay their debt off in like 10 years.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's something absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, to your point, I mean, you kind of made it sound pretty cool. Like, oh, you're making like defense, like warheads and these air these cool like war machines and stuff. But it would be awkward though. You're doing a TikTok dance and the Terminator's being fucking built behind you. That'd be kind of awkward, right?
Absolutely.
You
Or
imagine
you're
talking to your
making a
boss
hit
like,
for grandma, right? You're
yeah,
machining a hit for grandma and you're doing a
yeah,
dance. Hey, I'm doing a dance that grandma can't do right now because
every,
she needs this hip I'm making, right?
oh my god, all the that would be, and everyone's so sensitive now. Or like you're dancing and you're making hip replacement stuff for people who can't ever dance again. It's
Right.
like, sorry,
Yeah.
but I mean, hey, that might be appealing to some people. But this is I don't know if this is a good segue anymore into the game that we're gonna play.
Sorry,
But
did I
this is
blow
something I
that?
want to get. We brought up passive aggressiveness, and we
Yeah.
brought up kind of going from instead of going and getting like your MBA and going into the corporate world, and then instead going into the trade. So we're going to highlight some of the things that maybe people wouldn't look forward to or wouldn't be excited about when they're going into an office job. And we're gonna talk about some passive aggressive emails and what
Oh,
people are really saying in these passive aggressive
fantastic.
emails. So I know we have a couple HR professionals in the audience right now. So I'm really excited to get your take on what some of these emails really mean. And obviously, this isn't going to be, we're not going to sit
Fantastic.
here and read full emails. These are just going to be those little passive aggressive buzz phrases that we see in emails. And we're going to break down what does this person really mean from a more blue collar manufacturing perspective. So are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it. This is going to be fun because I've spent my I you can call my color baby blue. I've spent time in
Mhm.
both worlds. So yeah, this will be a lot of fun.
So this is going to be perfect. And Ron and family are
Yes.
excited. as well. The game that we played with him was fun. It was what if this person was your boss, and we brought up like obscure fictional characters. Like, what if the Terminator? Speaking of the Terminator, what if the Terminator was your boss? What if Fred Flintstone was your boss? Like, what would it be like to work for them? That was a fun
Oh,
one.
I love that.
That was
That's
a really
awesome.
fun one. All right.
I'm definitely gonna have to go back. Ron, I want to do a podcast swap with you too. Reach out
You
to me
guys would
some
be
other time.
amazing. You guys would be unreal on each other's podcasts. Yeah, absolutely. Great human beings coming together. Speaking of connecting. Anyways, all right. What do they really mean when they say we're moving the goalposts?
Oh man, that means they didn't plan well enough at the beginning of the year, and so they're saying, "Okay, you overachieved on your goal, and we're going to make it even further back."
You think that okay? So they didn't achieve their goal, so they're going
No, they
to.
did achieve the goal.
They did
So
achieve
what
their
I'm
goal.
saying, yeah. So what they're saying to
Mm.
me, what they're saying when I hear we're moving the goal or we're moving the goalpost, I performed to the best of my ability. I
Mm.
performed outstanding. I achieved every goal, and it's June, and our
Yeah.
fiscal year ends in December. So now they're moving the goalposts so that they don't have to compensate me on that goal now, and I have a
Mm.
stretch goal.
I see. Okay, no, that makes sense. So they're instead of compensating you, they're like, actually, we feel like we underprojected. We
Yes.
didn't foresee COVID happening and everybody staying at home, so we made your job really easy for you. It
Yep.
wasn't because you're good at your job. It's actually
Yep.
just because we're easy on you. That's what.
Yep.
Okay. See, you're a positive. See, this is the thing. I'm Canadian. You're we went more positive. I think at least somewhat more positive than I did because I was like, you guys suck. This like we expected more of you, so we're just going to move the goalposts because we feel bad. And we
Oh,
want
so you're moving the goalpost closer. I see it
yeah, in
moving
my mind,
back.
that's
Okay.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
And obviously we're kind of filling in the blanks with these because this is just like a one sentence.
Yeah.
But that's what I I think either one. It's I think yours is probably. I'm trying to think of like when I've heard this phrase before, and
Ron went the same way as you.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ron went the same way as me. I was trying to see what he went the same way as me. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like you guys suck. But I want to make it look like we hit our goals because we have to go. I have this meeting with our investors later or our
Got it.
board later, or I have to bring these to my boss later. So I'm going to move the goalpost a little bit. So I think it's more like so the boss doesn't get in trouble.
Got it. Got it.
Right.
And see, I'm looking at it as from the they're just fucking the employee standpoint versus
Well, I think either way they are
yeah,
in the
right.
long run. I think either way they are. Because then they're going to have this, especially if it's like a junior employee, they're going to go to their next job and be like, I didn't hit my goal. Hey, can you just move the goalpost a little bit
Yeah.
for me? Because this guy did it all the time because he didn't want to get in trouble. So I think either way. See, are
It's
you
that
fucking them now or
baggage.
fucking them later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that baggage that we all take from job to job.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. What did Chrissy say here? I thought Zach was going to make us pick TikTok influencers for manufacturing, and was that move the goalpost to emails. I did. See, Chrissy made the connection there. And also, that is a great idea, but that would also mean that I would have to go through TikTok, which sounds like something I'm
Oh
not
man,
prepared. I'm not prepared emotionally, mentally, physically to ever do.
that would be painful.
Oh, I mean, I would contract Adrena to do it, but yeah, not me. All right.
Uh,
What do they really mean when they say we need to manage expectations?
To me, this means again, they didn't project well. They didn't plan well. We need to manage expectations because we overshot our projections for the year, and we are going to come in well short of that.
I definitely I think yeah. I went I think I'm just an asshole and you're just a nice guy. I don't know. Because here's
See,
what I thought.
Americans are really nice.
Americans are actually no, they are. I think probably ratio wise, you're a lot nicer. So where my head went, we need to manage expectations is I have this great idea and I think that this is going to be really successful. Or here's a strategy that I have to reach these goals and maybe even these stretch goals. And how do you think this is going to go? And then your boss just emails you and says, Yeah, that sounds good, but we need to manage your expectations. Like we need to, like I don't believe in you, and I'm
Got
just
it.
telling you really nicely that it's cool. It could happen, but I also just realized that I spelled really wrong. Um, I need to manage my expectations for freaking what is that, Grammarly? Obviously doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where my head went. That's where my head went when I saw that one. What are your thoughts?
The other thing, the other way I went was the career pathing direction, right? We need to manage your expectations about where your career is going to go with this organization, right? So, but I think you're on point there. I like Ron's. We need to cut that shit out.
Yeah, sales over promising, and we need to cut that shit out. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Everyone managing, everyone just needs to calm down.
Yep.
Everyone just calm down. Yeah, exactly. Everyone just, we there's no strategy. I think that we need to manage. I've tried this before and it's failed. We need to manage expectations.
Yep.
I think that's it. It's just your boss saying, yeah, I don't think you can do this. So let's set the bar even lower. Let's move the goalposts.
Yeah.
And
The interchangeable at this point.
exactly 100%. All right. Let's see. Okay, this one, some of these I'm gonna get self-conscious here because some of these I say, and I think my team that's on here, they'll be like, you say that shit all the time. What do they
Oh,
really mean when they say we're building the plane as we fly it?
we have no fucking idea what we're doing.
Exactly, Ron. Exactly. That's exactly it. We're building the plane. Let's jump off the cliff
Yep.
and build it as we're going. Yeah, we have absolutely no idea what we're doing. However, but you still have to know how to build a plane though. Like you have to have the confidence that you can build a plane.
Sure.
It's just we're building it as we're falling or as we're
Yeah.
gliding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably, I mean, that one's pretty, I think that one's pretty straightforward. If anybody else wants to jump in, please do. Looks like this is fun. We got a lot of people on YouTube today. That's good. That's good to see. I like it. All right. Oh God, this one. Talk about passive aggressive. Per my
Uh,
last email. Per my last.
that what they really mean by that is, were you ever taught to read? Or how-
For sure.
I question your reading comprehension level. Do you
Yeah.
comprehend the words that are coming out of my mouth? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically calling somebody an idiot in about to be terminated. Well
About to
done,
be
Ron.
terminated. Yeah. Ron, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, this was a go for me. I won't lie. Yeah, it's per my last email. It's very much like it's so passive aggressive.
Oh,
I feel like no
absolutely.
matter what, like you can't read. This is one of those sentences that you can't read without. Yeah, the most is the period. Yeah. um, you can't read that without immediately going into, like, you're reading it in a tone of like what's the stereotypical, like, Karen.
Yeah.
Like, per my last email,
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
you can
can't.
just picture the short hair,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like, you it
yeah.
just like the condescending, like the look on their face, and like
Oh,
you can picture
absolutely.
them being like perma. And sometimes and then you go read their last email and you're like, I don't understand. You still don't understand this email. So they just don't. They're just trying to save face, right? So that they can say no. They can tell the team. There's probably other people CC'd on this email. First of all, I'm getting fired up now.
Absolutely.
You got like all these emails that I got that say per my last email are coming back to me. They probably have all these other people CC'd on it. So they're just saying
100%.
per my last email so that they can let everybody else know that they did send an email. And I think sometimes they probably didn't send an email, or the last email that they sent sucked and
Right.
it didn't make any sense. So I think from that perspective, but also, I mean, they're just saying you can't read, you're
Yeah.
stupid, you don't understand your job. I don't want to explain myself again. So just
Exactly.
go read the other email so I don't have to type it all out, even though they could have copied and pasted it. But
And I do think you're onto something there with the idea that there are other people CC'd on that email, right? This is a massive CYA
mm,
statement, right?
mhm.
It's just somebody's covering somebody's ass, and yeah,
100%. No, I couldn't agree more. This next one, I think we're gonna have some fun with this one. Let's take this offline. What do they really mean? This is like the
I
grade.
do not want to go on record by saying
Yeah.
what I really want to say.
Yeah, exactly. This is like the grade school equivalent to like, let's meet by the bike racks after school.
Oh, see, I look at it not as like we're going to get in fisticuffs, you and I. I look at it when I've used that line, it's been I don't want written record of what I'm about to say. Yeah, Ron,
Yeah,
exactly.
right,
HR
right.
standby. I don't want a record of what I'm about to say, whether it's about the person that I'm talking to or
Mhm.
about the person that I'm talking about.
Mhm. No, again, you're going more positive. I'm like, we're about to fight, but no, I'm 100%. Like, nobody can know what we're about to say, or
Yeah,
somebody just said something really dumb, and we need to talk about this right
we
now.
need
I
to
don't want to hurt.
debrief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. So there's a few different ways we're looking at this. I don't want anybody else that's on this call to be involved, or I don't want record of this because we're about to go to the bike stands. We're about to go to the swing set and let her rip. Mom, get the cold steaks ready.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I got
100%.
it. I get
I
it.
love it.
I get it, man.
All right.
You're a lot more jacked than I am. So my brain doesn't go to the physical altercation. I go to we're about to talk shit about that person.
I, I don't know which is worse. I don't know which is worse. It doesn't matter. I don't like. I don't think they're going to fight. I think they need to have a candid conversation that probably shouldn't be on record to
Yeah.
figure out. What do you say in the Marine Corps? We called this taking it to the tree line. I like it. I like it. If you said that in an email, no one would know what you're talking about, and you could probably get away with it. So
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely. I'm
I
gonna
like
start using that one, Ron. Let's take it to the tree line.
And they just say it to like the one wrong person, and then they'll take it so literal.
The one Marine will get
Yeah, you
it
don't want
and
to.
be like, "I'm waiting for you, asshole."
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyways, move on from that one. We're all gonna get in trouble. All right. Thanks in advance. What does that mean?
I just made an astronomical ask of your time and effort, and I don't want to thank you later. So I am going to say with multiple exclamation marks, thanks in advance, because I know that this is going to take you forever.
Yeah, it's like here's a gratitude down payment, so I make sure you do it. And if you don't do it, you're gonna feel bad.
Yep,
Also, you know for sure there's other people CC'd on this email too. So then
absolutely.
they just enforced your commitment, even though it's not in your actual job description, and it's
Yeah.
probably going to take away from the other stuff you're supposed to be doing. 100%. We're, we're
Yep.
we're on the same page with this one, I think.
There is no professional consent when this is given to somebody, right? This is a forced work situation.
Yeah, this is just being
Yep.
manipulative. Yeah, I guilting you exactly guilty. They're just manipulating you into doing it. Like I'm going to get your commitment without you actually committing to it. And obviously we're taking this in like a very extreme direction, and probably well over 50% of the time this is just like a good interaction and probably
All right.
something we've already committed to, but for the sake of us having some fun, this person's being a manipulative asshole.
Well, and that just speaks to the scars that you and I have in the world of in the world of work, right? If that's where
Mm.
our mind goes to, that speaks to those scars we have.
Well, and that's what we're trying to fix. That's why we are both doing
Absolutely.
what we're doing. And it's funny. So a lot of these, speaking of this coming up, like in the construction industry, with more blue collar individuals who really would probably go meet out at the bike stand if needed, and everyone would probably show up and cheer everybody on. There were very thin walls. I was fractional for a company doing custom window replacement, and the walls were very thin. The building that they were in was like it used to be a supermarket, or maybe not, probably not a supermarket, just a regular market in that place. But the walls were very thin, and I could hear people. They'd send the email, read the email, and then I could hear them saying what they really meant through the walls. I was like, "Thanks in advance. This fucking person better do this, or else this is the fifth time I've asked this person to do this. Why can't this person read these emails? Like, I could
Oh my
hear it
God.
through it. Like, you can't hide in that. And it's just, it was so funny. This one is near and dear to my heart. Most of the emails, you are not getting a response from me for 48 hours, so I can think through it. Yeah,
All
you need to
right.
calm down. You need to go for a
Yeah.
walk. You need to walk the
Yeah.
dog. You need to maybe go get a dog. Calm down. And,
That's the 24-24 rule that I
Mhm.
teach people in some of the courses that I facilitate, coach, whatever you want to call it. You have to, if somebody frustrates you just on an emotional intelligence, from an emotional intelligence standpoint, the best thing to do is sit on it for 24 hours.
Mhm.
If it still bothers you after 24 hours to the extent that it did when it first happened, then you have to address it within the next 24 hours, right? So
Mhm.
I think Ron is way more emotionally intelligent than people probably give him credit for when he doesn't respond for 48 hours. He's just processing and
Mhm.
coming up with the best way to let people know.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised that your perspective on things changes with a good night's sleep.
Yeah,
Get a
absolutely.
couple wins under your wing. Do a few good things. Have some good interactions, and then you'll, the way you react, the way you respond will be much more conducive to creating a positive outcome. Ron is managing expectations for your health and safety. I will not be replying for 48 hours. Yeah, exactly.
I like it. It's a good
Exactly.
group you got on here, man.
Yeah,
The
this is
people
great.
who interact on here are great.
They're awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, I think we got one more, but we kind of did this one. But no, I think this is a bit of a different perspective. This is the last one. We need to move the needle.
We are underperforming. That's where I see
Mm,
this one. We have
yeah.
underperformed to a point where we need to move the needle or we are going to make some changes. This, to me, is a very veiled threat because if we do not move the needle, you will be replaced.
Yeah. Yeah. This is either you're going to be replaced or we're going to get acquired by Disney, and it's which is not going to be good for anybody. Type of thing. I don't know why I picked Disney for that
Yeah, that
example,
was
but
a very arbitrary selection
very
of
it was the first one
massive.
that came to mind. It's the first one that came to mind. I don't know why. I'm seeing all these like Deadpool dancing to bye 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 all over the place on Instagram and everything. So yeah, everything sucks, and you better bring your A game. Exactly. We need to do something. We need to either do what we're doing better, or we need to find a new way. We're in a meeting right now. We need to move the needle. We need to come up with a new strategy because what we're doing right now is absolutely terrible, and we
Yeah,
need to move the needle. And most, I mean, when they say move the needle, they mean move it forward. They mean
yeah,
move it forward for sure. I'm aligned with Joe on this one. Yeah, you would be more aligned with Joe or Jim. I keep combining you and Ron's names together.
that's all right, man.
Nailed it. Yeah.
If that's the worst thing I'm called today, then that's a win for me.
Yeah. Speaking of passive aggressive, 100% love it. I think that's all I got. That's all the bad
That was fun.
uh
I like that.
passive. Oh, I'm glad you did. I'm glad that you came on. I knew that we'd have a good candid conversation. Obviously, and it's just been a while since we were able to chat, so this was a good
Absolutely,
excuse
man.
to shoot the
Yeah.
shit, my friend. So,
Absolutely.
um,
And I don't know if they're listening today. I know they had responded on LinkedIn, Mike Franz. So, Mike, if you're listening, I think Zach needs some shop floor coffee. So you might need to maybe I'll make that introduction if this is how long have you been doing this show?
this one, this would be month 2.
Okay. Yeah. Mike, I'm going to connect you to Zach and see if we can't get a coffee sponsorship or something like that going on. Shop Floor Coffee, Mike
Yeah,
Franz, Amy Teal. A percentage goes to fund going back, tying it all back. Percentage funds workforce development and apprenticeship programs in the
awesome.
manufacturing industry. So yeah, I'll definitely connect you guys.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a great. I don't have my mug, but they've got great coffee, great swag, great merch, great company.
yeah, I love it. No, any of these. There was so when I was competing, when I was back in the day when it didn't hurt to get out of bed in the morning. Actually, no, it still hurt to get out of bed. When it hurt less to get out of bed in the
Yeah.
morning, I was sponsored. I had a sponsor. It was crap. What was his name? American. Oh, it was a very American made coffee brand, and I can't remember the name right now. Black Rifle Coffee. I can't believe I didn't remember that. That's so embarrassing. Black Rifle Coffee. They were amazing. I absolutely loved working with them. So any coffee brand that supports charities, supports nonprofits, that is supports shows like ours, I'm always on board. For some reason, coffee companies are always amazing.
Yeah.
There's a couple local to around here too. Like Kicking Horse is one of them.
Okay.
They're always so cool. Like whoever gets in the coffee business is so cool. Tim Hortons, step up your game. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. But no, I would really appreciate that. I think that'd be a blast. Absolute blast. I really, really appreciate that, Jim.
One of the blends is called FNG. And I'll let Ron and you take that. Yeah. Everyone, we have a call to action. Yeah, absolutely.
Shop Floor Coffee. Yes, go check out Shop Floor. Okay, I heard Shop Floor. That's why I went to like the Black Rifle Coffee. Shop Floor Coffee. All right, forget any comparisons I made. Shop Floor Coffee.
Shop Floor Coffee. Yeah, absolutely. Check that out.
I'll get their link too for everybody watching the this replay. Put it in the description below. But Jim, I really appreciate it, brother. I love everything you're doing. I love having these conversations. We should probably do it more often, maybe not wait 6 or 7 months to do it.
Agreed.
So give everybody really quick, because I know that there's a few more people on here than there were at the beginning. What do you have going on right now? What's the next? I know that you have an event going on in like 9 or 8 days or something like that. What do you have going on, and where can people find you?
Yeah, so IMTS, it's the International Machine Tool Show in Chicago. It's the largest manufacturing trade show west of Europe, I guess, in this hemisphere. It's massive. It's the largest one in the US by far. So I'm working in the Creators Lounge, interviewing shop owners, interviewing OEMs, interviewing change makers in the nonprofit space, Google Cloud Security. There's a lot of interviews that I'm doing there. That'll be a lot of fun. I just launched a new show as well called the Manufacturing Connector, where I actually have software and technology companies on that are solving problems in the manufacturing industry in novel ways. Everything from a company called Caddy, that's a drawing repository, digital repository, to ways that companies are changing lean approaches and workforce development approaches. So that's a lot of fun. People can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest place. It's just Jim Mayer, and I am in a massive copper bathtub filled with orange ping pong balls in a suit. So that's me. If you're like, I don't know if this is him, it's me. Or you can get me at my email, jim.mayer, Mayer, at themfgconnector.com.
I love it. Also, today's not a good day for me sounding smart. I thought those were fucking rubber duckies.
You're not the first, man. They're ping pong balls. So that was the IMTS show. That was the 2018 IMTS. There was an event at a place called Spin. It's a ping pong social club. And they're all over the country, Spin. And you go and you can play against pros. You can try and return a serve from a pro. You can just play with your friends. But they have this massive bathtub full of orange ping pong balls. And I saw it. I didn't know if I could get in, but I did. And a buddy just happened to snap a photo. Matt Gilmore, nice job on the photo, if you're watching or listening. But yeah, it was great. It's a fun photo. And I just love that people still commented on it 6 years later, man.
Let me guess, the next day you got an email that said, per my last email, Jim, you were not allowed to take pictures in the bathtub.
Actually, the fun part was my boss took that picture in 2018. I was working for a nonprofit at the time, and my boss is the one who snapped the photo. So yeah, I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble.
Oh, then perfect. That's it. All right. I love it. All right, Jim, I really appreciate you. We're going to have to do something like this a little bit more often, or a lot more often, either one. It's up to you. But thank you, everybody, for being here. And until next time, everybody, keep chasing your next summit.